this, I would say let's get started with the pilot cities in the spotlight. Spotlight is here. Pilot cities just about to step on stage. The first pilot city program was actually started in March this year, and there are 49 mission cities that are currently experimenting with rapid decarbonization strategies, and some of them are going to present the pilot activities now. They're going to talk about the vision that's driving those activities, the biggest challenges and learnings they're having, and the collaborations that they're looking for. So all of you are actually invited to listen, to engage, and to look at what's similar, what they are doing, how can you exchange on that? How is what they're doing different from you, and what can you learn from them? How can you support them? Which are the ones that you're interested in where you just want to follow? So, how is this going to work? First, we have a QR code that will show up after each presentation, and you can then click on that QR code, and it will take you to a form, and there you say, I am really interested to have a conversation with this person from that city, and then you can continue that conversation. All right, there are a few rules on how this is going to work. We're going to have 19 cities on stage presenting. Each of them is allowed 3 minutes and a maximum of 3 slides. As you might have seen, it's not so easy for people to really stick to time schedules, right? And 3 minutes is a tough one. And that means either I am going to have to really come up very close to all the speakers and hug them at a certain point. Let's see who wants that or not. Or we're also going to come up with a few more rules. One rule is everyone who manages to stay in that time frame of 3 minutes, get some chocolate. Is there a better incentive? I don't think so. So, if you're getting jealous now because you're not a speaker and you want chocolate as well, don't you worry, because you've got a chance. How? You find those little Post-its in front of you, and there we actually invite you to be part of a bet. We have 19 presentations of 3 minutes. How many do you think are going to stick to the time of 3 minutes? I invite you to put down your number now on one of those Post-its, and then just put the Post-it on your badge. I hope you have pens. If not, ask a neighbor. Someone always has pens, specifically the ones carrying around bags. They usually have pens. So, out of 19, how many are going to stick to the 3 minutes? And if you're going to win, of course, you do get chocolate as well. Right. Just to explain the rules, this is how it works. And I would say we are ready to go. And I understand that you could actually cheat and in the end just write a new number on your Post-it. But I'd so trust in humanity and you that you're not going to cheat, right? Okay. And with this, I would say let's get started. I've got a clicker here. You already see, yeah, this is how it works. There's a big program awaiting us. And we already have the presenters lined up here. So please, welcome on stage with a loud applause from Bristol, Alex Ivory. Alex, here is your clicker. This is forward. Your 3 minutes are starting now. Right, Brecht, we're going to have to interrupt this. Good. This was not the slides we needed.
Just back one. There we go, fine.
This is your slide? Yeah. Okay, could we get the timer to start again? And then exactly, you either come here or you use the microphone. Wonderful, and 3 minutes are starting now.
Hi, I'm Alex. I'm the Climate Change Team Manager at Bristol. I work in the City Council from City Hall. Bristol's a city of about 400,000 people in the southwest of England, and there are 8 of us in the team, and if you had been working with us at City Hall at the end of February 2020, then you would have looked out the window and seen this view greeting you, this huge amount of people. And this crowd was gathered outside City Hall to hear Greta Thunberg address them before she led a school strike for climate march around Bristol. So in terms of big challenges, you might be saying to me, Alex, with this amount of public concern about climate change and the people with these values strongly held, how have you got a problem? Why aren't your emissions dropping? Well, I think we all know that there are multiple and very complex reasons why people's values and concern don't always translate into action and into falling emissions. They don't always have the products and the services and the supplies they need to translate that action into a low-carbon lifestyle. So what we really want to do is get more money into that system so we can de-risk initial investments and create a bigger supply chain. And we want to do that through a pilot city project which is called Net Zero Investment Co-Innovation Lab. It's co-innovation because we're going to explore with a variety of other people and organizations, including financiers and our local citizens, what we can do. And it builds on what we've done to date, because our journey started with Eleanor funding, which allowed us to create an energy service within the council. They created a pipeline. They created further single-purpose vehicles called Bristol City Leap. And now we want to go further and release more control. It's very experimental. So we have this gap between people's actions and people's values. We do have a gap, but we want to experiment with new financial innovations. We know we want to have a venture capital fund. We know we want to have a community investment vehicle, a green bond. We are going with a provider called Abundance. They're a market leader in the UK, and this will allow people in the city to modestly invest in the decarbonisation of their own city. We also want to work with the developers, the funding requirements they have, if they can't meet carbon neutral developments, to see if we can use that for nature-based solutions in the wider city region. But we reach out to you for up to 3 more things we want to test, which are completely unknown yet. So we want your ideas. We really want to work with you to try new innovations and perhaps do that through a city support group. Thank you.
Yay!
Chocolate.
Alex, chocolate. First one, I'm proud. Okay, I'll put this a bit forward. Need more chocolate space. Wonderful. Next on stage, Istanbul. Please welcome on stage Professor Dr. Ayşen Erdinçler. Clicker here.
There's just a moment.
I'll just let you arrange yourself.
Yeah.
Let's just see if that works for you.
Gosh, too much excitement. Which is proceeding. Here we go.
Yeah. Can you just try if it works?
Yeah,
super. You have 3 minutes.
Well, it's good to be here, and we are proud to be one of the mission and the pilot cities, obviously. Well, Istanbul is a huge city, having population more than 20 million, so you can guess the difficulties. Well, we have first committed to be carbon neutral by 2050, and we have prepared our climate action plan, and with being the signatory of this mission, then we have to accelerate it to 2030. As you can see over here, this is the greenhouse gas inventory of the Istanbul, and the biggest share comes from the stationary energy. So this is the reason we're more focused on that sector. Well, at the same time, Istanbul is in the tectonic zone. I mean, Turkey is in the tectonic zone. This means that we are expecting a huge earthquake having magnitude more than 7.5, which is horrible, obviously. But the building stock of the Istanbul is mostly, you know, old buildings. They are prone to earthquakes, and also they having very low energy efficiency. So we have to basically renew or rebuild the 20% of the building stock. This is very important, and for that we do have Istanbul Renewal Platform and Istanbul Urban Transformation Master Plan. So what happened over here is basically, as a pilot project built for Green East project, we try to convert this obligatory, transformation to an opportunity for building green and climate-neutral city. So we are going to do it in the scope of the Istanbul Urban Transformation Plan. Then we will try to use the same budget and maybe some additional to also build the green and the energy efficient buildings. Basically what triggered us, our motivation sources, what was it? First, as I mentioned before, used this difficulty, this challenge to convert it to an opportunity for the transformation. Second is the to offer people some, easy financial models to convince them. This is also very important, and increase their awareness for the public perception, obviously, and to increase the energy efficiency of the old but the non-risky buildings, and to generate new green development and green employment opportunities. And thank you.
We had a bit of a tech click here. I think this still counts. You also do get a chocolate.
Am I? Oh.
We couldn't see the final 10 seconds, so I think...
See, but 20 million, I guess, is fair enough to get just 1 or 10 seconds more.
Well, you take your chocolate and then you want to say more? No, we cannot do it. Thank you so much, Ayşen. From renovated buildings in Istanbul, we move on to Drammen, and please welcome on stage Ingeborg Veselka Tofte. Clicker here. This is your time. You see it over there?
Starting from now.
Starting from now.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Let's see, we have Drammen there. Starting. Yeah. I took the question about the vision very seriously. So I would like to take you on a journey to Drammen in 2030. The politicians have now made the climate strategy a leading star in the development of the city. Local businesses and citizens contribute to reach the climate goals. The citizens travel less out of the city and use the local areas instead. Car sharing solutions are now much more common in the city center than private cars. Small repair stations can be found all over the city, often located together with cafes, mobility stations, or public services. Drammen is now also known for solar energy production and as one of the leading cities for circular business. I will leave the vision for now and go to our pilot projects. Drammen Municipality, the University of Southeast Norway, and local businesses are working together for the pilot projects. We have 3 pilots focusing on our green and blue areas, combining health and climate action. We will develop an app to inspire the citizens to use the local areas and use VR technology to promote local outdoor activities and nature. We need our citizens to reduce their consumption and reuse and repair more. One pilot will promote solutions for reuse and repair throughout the city. To get our citizens to use green mobility in their everyday life, we have to offer a variety of mobility solutions. Shared mobility is well established with micromobility and bikes, but car sharing is still premature. We will therefore have a pre-study and a pilot for car sharing solutions. And then we have 2 pilots toward local business. One pilot focuses on growth in solar energy production. We want to boost more circular business too. And we have a pilot to establish a solution for reuse of building materials and mass management. The more we know about our citizens and local businesses, the better we can connect with them and create local ownership for climate action. Through the pilots, we will learn more about how we can plan and implement change. Climate communication and local involvement will be essential. We need to connect the people, ideas, and the actions. The overall vision for Drammen city is a good place to live. We want to show our citizens and local businesses that the climate-neutral city is a good place to live. Thank you for your attention.
Five seconds left, and here's your chocolate. Thank you. From Norway, we go to the south, to Vitoria-Gasteiz, on behalf of all the Spanish mission cities, Barcelona, Madrid, Sevilla, Valencia, Valladolid, and Zaragoza. Please welcome on stage Beatriz García Monco Piñero.
So,
this is your clicker. Here's your time. Go.
Hello, everybody. My name is Beatriz García Monco, and I am an architect from Vitoria-Gasteiz City Council. Also, I have a 9-year-old boy who often hears me talking about this big project that I'm working with another 6 Spanish cities. And one day, he asked me, "Mom, what is this big project that you always are talking about? Because I cannot understand one thing." And I said, "Okay, I will try to explain this to you in a way that you can understand it." So, Mommy is working with another 6 cities, Barcelona, Madrid, Seville, Valencia, Valladolid, Zaragoza, and Vitoria-Gasteiz, in a very big project, and we are the mighty Avengers. Vitoria-Gasteiz, as Captain America, is coordinating a 7 superhero Spanish cities team to win the challenge for successful urban regeneration. We assemble to fight against Thanos and his world-destroying Infinity Gauntlet. All of us, with our unique superpowers, will fight for our cities, our country, Europe, and the world, in our own unique way, with our own unique superpowers. And believe me, we will need those superpowers because this challenge is epic. And we also have to earn do you remember about the 6 infinity stones that the Infinite Gauntlet has? Okay, these stones are the common barriers that we found in the process of urban regeneration. Social barriers, like for example, we are going to tackle that by building energy communities and establishing a collaboration with public and private companies. Governance, we will have to understand the needs of the cities and the stakeholders and learn how to work with all the political statements. Cultural, we will buy private buildings, rehabilitate them, and put it in the market for social rent. Innovation, we will investigate about new sustainable materials to use in urban rehabilitation and in buildings, and we will teach professionals to do so. Regulatory, we will develop a new rehabilitation protocol. Finance, we will reach for new innovative financial solutions. And communication, we have to reach all of you and leave no one behind. So these are our 6 infinity stones. But we are not enough. Do you remember for the battle with Thanos? We will need all the Avengers. We will need all the stakeholders. We will need Wakanda's reign. We will need everybody. So we will need your classmates, fellow citizens, teachers, factory owners, bank owners. And after a more than 3-minute presentation or 3.5-minute presentation, he said, "Okay, Mom, that's cool. And now, just one thing left to say. Spanish cities, assemble." Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Beatriz. I would have loved to give you some superpowers for the superheroes, but I feel like you've got the superpower without chocolate as well, as unfortunately that was slightly over 3 minutes. We are going to the north again, and I welcome on stage from Lahti, Aino Kulunen. Clicker, you click here. Okay. You see your time down here. It goes now.
Perfect, thank you. Good afternoon. That sounded amazing, but I'm going to take you back to reality. And I'm coming from Lahti, a mid-sized city in northern Scandinavia, southern Finland. And among the pilot projects, I think we have a very detailed and specific topic. We are talking about commuting and reaching a change in the towards sustainable commuting. Yeah, like most Nordic countries and Nordic cities, we are already relatively far with our climate work, but we have one major challenge, and that is the traffic, especially the road transport emissions. And our cities and our city is built for cars. It's sort of the whole urban structure is built and designed for everybody having their own car. And our vision is that by 2030, over half of all the journeys in our city would be by sustainable mobility. Public transport, a bus, biking, walking, but this is clearly easier said than done. We are, however, not starting from zero. We've been working on sustainable mobility already for a long time, and it's sort of in the heart of our urban planning. But what we've learned along the way is that the city cannot just do that alone. So the city can provide infrastructure, we can provide the public transport, but what we cannot do is to change the behavior of the people, and therefore we need more stakeholders. So for the project here, we are allying with the local companies and see them as
employers with a power of changing the commuting patterns of their employees. We have now commissioned from 6 different employers in the city area, and we also have a specific business district that is being developed at the moment, and we will focus on that area as well. So we have in the project, it's not just a city, it's also 2 local universities, and along with the researchers and actually the healthcare authority from the region, we are going to these companies, and we want to hear from the employees what they need, and we want to hear from the employers what they can do and how the city can then facilitate this, what kind of new services or market options they would need to nudge the change. We don't know yet what the exact results will be, but we know that the most important outputs will be that there will be a toolkit for employers for sustainable development or mobility and commuting, and also a sustainable commuting program for the district area. And we welcome all collaboration from you for the project. Thank you.
You're literally 2 seconds past 3 minutes. I'm being very nice. There you go. Thank you. I don't have 3 hands. I'll try it with 2. Thank you. Off we go from Lahti, and this time it is a video, so I'm quite optimistic that this person is actually going to take less than 3 minutes. And we have a video from Liberece, from Pavlina Trdivvoka. Let's have a look.
Hello everyone, greetings from the city of Liberec, from the Czech Republic. My name is Pavlina and I am this pilot coordinator and also a coordinator for the whole mission for this city. I'm really sorry that we can be with you in Brussels today, but we are really happy that we can share at least a little bit about our pilot this way. So let's start. Our project is called the Initiation of Sustainable Energy Community for the city of Liberec. For this project, we created a consortium with our heating plant called Teplárna Liberec, with our local technical university, and with a consulting company called Leaf Technologies. Our pilot is focused on 2 emission domains, on energy and on transport and mobility domain. Mainly, we want to search for the sustainable energy community model, in terms of youth legislation, technologies, or a range of potential members of community. Also, we want to focus on development of low-emission transport, which mainly means to focus on development of charging infrastructure for electric vehicles, for private, public, and also for freight transport. Other important part of this project are activities related to communication, trust building, education, overall promotion of this topic related to the mission. These activities will be included within the online platform, which also should include some, let's say, calculations that will enable decision making for potential community members. Our vision is that this project would be, let's say, kind of flagship project for our whole mission, how to be climate neutral. We believe that this project will have real results, real impacts, but of course there are many barriers and challenges that we have to face. First, there is problem with trust building among citizens. We need to get their willingness to be a part of this community. Other problem is that we are still waiting for new legislation for energy communities in the Czech Republic. And last but not least, this is also something we have learned during our bootcamp sessions. We need to develop kind of business model for the community, the investment platform, to be able to move this project community to next level, to next stage, to be successful. So this is something we are thinking right now, and I guess that's all I'm able to share within 3 minutes presentation. So in case you are interested to learn more about our activities related both to this pilot project and also to the whole mission, please send me a message to following email addresses. I will be really happy to hear from you. Thank you for your attention and enjoy the rest of your staying in Brussels. And I hope to meet you in person next time. Thank you and bye. See you next time.
So I wouldn't have been able to actually send a chocolate to Liberezza now because that was actually over 3 minutes. So just a bit of a score in between. We currently have 4 out of 6, so just testing with you, who actually estimated that there would be more than 4 who are actually going to stick to, okay, so you're still in the game for the chocolate. And here we have the QR code. So as I said, this is going to take you to the forum where you can express your interest in some of those cities and really go into contact, follow up with them, and please take the opportunity to do so. Before we go into the next batch, again, I think it's quite nice to also reflect what does that have to do with you. So by now you somehow know the game. You turn to a neighbor, you're each given a minute. If you already know the person who's constantly sitting next to you, you can also just stand up and go somewhere else, but just try to find one person that you can talk to now. 1 minute each, and the question is, what from what you've just heard is different from your own city? So this is something that you can copy-paste, that you can learn from, that you want to follow up on, and then the other person goes. So we turn this around now. Person with the longer hair once again starts. And now is the moment where you actually have to stop looking at me and looking at each other. Find the person. I will give you a minute. Person with the longer hair starts. What was different from my city? What is it that I can take away from here? You've got a minute. Enjoy your conversations. And the minute is over now, so you switch so the other person gets to talk about their experience. And with this, I say thank you. Find a way to finish your sentence. Say thank you to the person who you just had a conversation with. And then we continue into the second batch of pitches. All right. So, there are more pitches awaiting us. And next on stage, we actually have a duo. Of course, 2 people means 2 pieces of chocolate. So it's just one. Oh, it's just one. Oh, but it's then okay. And in this case, I welcome from Limassol, Penelope Vasquez Hachilira. Please give it up for her. This is your clicker. Down here is your time. 3 minutes.
You. I wasn't that prepared, but hi, my name is Penelope from Limassol municipality, also known as Lemesos. For those who don't know where we are located at the southern eastern edge of Europe. So we're that tiny island just below Turkey. Sorry, I didn't annotate it. I don't know if you can see that. And Limassol is located in the southern edge of the island. So annotated there with red. Limassol, or Lemesos, is there's a lot of, it's densely built. So there's a lot of density. You can see there's absolutely no green areas, as you can see from the Google map right there. And for us, problems such as the modern urban heat island effect or traffic congestion or dust, they're not like new concepts. This is something we've had for a long time. Adding the dense buildings increases the heat in the city. It's obvious that in a climate conference we can talk a lot about the activities of people in overheating the planet, and today I don't want to talk about the technicalities. During the PCP call, there was a phrase, the main obstacle to climate transition is not a lack of technologies, but the capacity to implement them. For us, that really touched us, and we focused, sorry, I also have that. That really shows like the heat in the center. But yeah, so for us, our pilot is about who decides about what happens to that plot. That plot is surrounded by 3 buildings. Who decides whether it should be in the middle of the city, standing alone, as a parking space, as a park, and who gets to invest in that? Does the city prepare that and create a green area? Should the surrounding buildings invest in that and benefit from that by raising their value in property? So through a series of workshops and citizen engagement, we want to find out who's willing to invest in that, what should we invest, how to invest in this, and maybe provide answers for the heat effect. Thank you. If you want to know more, I have a lot of, much more to say on the subject, but I really wanted the chocolate.
So there you go.
So,
Thank you, Penelope. We move on from the dense southern edge in Turkey to Cluj-Napoca, and please welcome on stage Dalila Ciuclan. Clicker, time.
Okay, thank you. My name is Dalila. Hello, everyone. And I work at Cluj-Napoca municipality, and I don't think that I will receive my chocolate today. Okay, but I will jump into Cluj-Napoca pilot project, blueprint for net zero apartment block neighborhoods. And I will explain you a little bit. We're paving and preparing the way for 2030, and this project gives us the opportunity to tackle all climate neutrality related topics and look in depth at the urban fabric of this neighborhood. Is the biggest neighborhood in Cluj-Napoca, Mănăștur, a former industrial and communist neighborhood. But we are not doing this alone as public administration. We are working closely with Cluj Net Zero local coalition. I don't know if you remember, but our mayor, Emil Boc, in the morning told us and spoke about the power of togetherness, and we really believe that this is the way to do things together. And we will use the people expertise from Cluj Net Zero local coalition and implement this project. One really interesting activity, and we look forward to starting it, is inviting citizens to co-create and co-design in the urban living room. We put this in proposal, and we will invite the people from the neighborhood to co-create together and to understand what they need in their neighborhood and to increase the quality of life. Okay, so I will receive the chocolate. Thank you very much.
You almost received 2 pieces. That was like the quickest of all. There you go.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much from local coalition in Cluj-Napoca. We move on to France, to Nantes, and please welcome on stage Nathalie Poisson. Clicker here, microphone, 3 minutes.
Hi, so my name is Nathalie Poisson, which is fish, and not poison, which would be poison. But it's fine. So for Nantes, it's also a matter to be together towards climate neutrality. And we decided to do what we do best, which is mobilize our inhabitants and engage in participatory processes. Citizen challenges have been ongoing for 12 years now in Nantes. Every year, inhabitants of the metropole are invited to join a thematic challenge on waste, energy, or food. The metropole is 24 cities and almost 700,000 inhabitants. Then they are teamed up, and during 6 to 9 months, they are trained in simple and inexpensive eco-gestures. They can access online information, attend collective meetings such as group events, workshops, and site visits. With the pilot project, we saw the opportunity to scale up these challenges. So from 2024 onwards, citizens will not sign up for a thematic challenge, but for carbon neutrality challenge. With our partners in the project, so we will be working with Nantes University to reach out to the students, with the Samoa, which is a public developer of a neighborhood of Nantes, and we will reach out to the inhabitants and workers of that neighborhood, and Dirigeants Responsables, which is a federation of employers that will work with its workers. We will accompany participants in their transition towards sustainable lifestyles. So the same, we will provide information and trainings, but in a wider spectrum of sectors, touching housing, transport, digital footprint, to support the participants in reducing their carbon footprint. In order to follow the evolution, the participants will register some information regularly. Our objectives are setting up a new model of challenge, global, massified, replicable, contribute to develop a national platform where people will be able to interact, to find the information, especially local information on what they can do, and most importantly, organize feedback from participants to identify obstacles, but also levers, where the metropole can have an influence and adapt local public policies. And I will be over, I will not have my chocolate. The challenge for Nantes is to embark all partners, not only for the duration of the project, but for the years to come. And for this first year, we aim to reach at 1,000 households and reach out to diverse profiles of population. And we hope that my last slide, which is very bad, but the idea is to make those moments of gathering very festive, so people become happy ambassadors of a sustainable lifestyle. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nathalie. Also, excuse my French. Unfortunately, no chocolate for you, but an inspiring vision from Nantes. Thank you so much for that. We move on to Utrecht and Groningen, respectively, and on behalf of Dutch mission cities Amsterdam, Eindhoven, Helmond, Rotterdam, and The Hague. And I do see 3 people coming up, and I only have 2 names. So let's guess, we've got Royal Massink and Jan Kees Kleuver, and one name that I did not mention. I'm sorry for that. Monique van der Voort. Please give it up for them. This is your clicker. And here is your time, 3 minutes.
Thank you. My name is Monique van der Voort. I'm from the city of The Hague, lead partner of this pilot. Let me see, how does it work? Yeah. And we've decided in the Netherlands not to compete to get the pilot city, but to cooperate with each other. So we decided we're going to make a project with 7 cities. And what are we going to do? The idea is we all have to make an investment plan, but we need to become climate neutral. We need money. So we have invented this approach for the district investment platform. The idea is that we've all selected one district in our city, and if we want to get the attention of private investors, they always talk about scale, how to scale up. We've decided that we wanted to do it differently, take a deep dive in the business cases and to see if we could find other solutions.
Thanks. Right, the basic idea of our pilot is very simple. Climate neutrality is in many ways a social problem. So if we make a neighborhood climate neutral, we aim to raise everything. We aim to raise, of course, energy, but also equality, welfare, well-being, health. So if we do that, we'll see that the total costs of this neighborhood will decrease in time. And if we can capitalize on this decrease upfront, we'll make a lot of money available for making this neighborhood climate neutral. For that, we need a lot of partners, and there's where Roel comes in.
Exactly. Because we take an integrated approach, it allows us to involve a multitude of stakeholders at the district level. Not only the municipality, but all other parties, social housing agencies, citizens, other real estate companies, district heating companies, they all play a role. But not only those more regular stakeholders, we also look into the more unusual ones or the not so usual suspects, such as involving the health insurance companies to become part of these district investment platforms, because they will have a benefit if the people that have their insurances will be more healthy because they live in more healthy neighborhoods. Other parties could include the banks that have mortgages that could be at risk if you do not renovate them. And finally, a not so usual suspect, but for us very important, we invite the European Commission and the EIB to come to these districts and to be there shoulder to shoulder with us.
Wow,
well, that's it.
7 city projects, 3 people, and chocolate. Very much on time. I'm impressed. There you go. You're welcome. Thanks to you. All right. So by now we have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 presentations, out of which 7 were on time. Who's still in the game? 7 and more. Very optimistic, very good. All right, before we continue, what's your energy level at the moment? Woo, Rotterdam is like, yay. Okay, what about the others? Like, is it somewhere down here? This is your nap time? Is it somewhere here? Is it up here? It's like, okay. Shall we still do a bit of an exercise? Yes, let's do one. This is one that I really like. I can see the first people like, oh my God, she's doing another one. It's okay, I mean, you can take it or you don't. You can also observe the others doing it, but actually doing it yourself is more fun. And this is also things that you can do in your offices. And all of us are sitting too much, so please, we do need this. Okay, this is how it goes. You stretch out your arms. Who's going to do this with me now? It's a good one for your shoulder blades, right? So exactly, good thing that we're sitting far enough apart from each other. And then what we do is we raise up the left one and lower the right one. And then we cross them like this. And then we put both hands up. And then ideally, kind of the back of your hands should touch like this. This is the part where it already starts getting uncomfortable for some people or impossible for others, and that's okay. And then what you can also do, if you're as flexible, you can kind of twist them a bit further. So it actually, you have to check which way works. Looks a bit like one of those snake people, right, that we're seeing in movies. Okay, so this is what you can do. Now you should be able to clap a bit, right? Okay, yay. Oh, that was a nice applause. Okay, right, what you then do, I'll just show you from the side. What you do is you make sure that your shoulders are actually lowered and not something like this, but they should be lowered and rather relaxed. And then what you do is you just slightly start raising your elbows. And that should create a tiny little stretch in your shoulder blades. Can you sense that? Give me a bit of a Good, okay. Don't overdo it. Don't go up too far. If it starts hurting, please do not continue. And just continue breathing. And then you very slowly go down again. And you unwind. You kind of roll your shoulders a bit. And then obviously we do the other side. Okay, so we stretch our arms. We go up with the right hand and lower the left one. We cross them. Do the same thing again. We put them up, and then we see if we can touch the kind of back of our hands. And then if we can twist again. And weirdly enough, this is usually easier one side than the other. I don't know why. Maybe it's not for everyone. And then same thing again. You make sure that your shoulders are low. And then you just very kind of gently start raising your elbows. And you just continue breathing. Give me a bit of a Sounds good. And then you very slowly go back. You untwine. Just roll your shoulders a bit. Can you sense that? That it's slightly, you can kind of feel that tension. It's slightly lighter now. Is that good for anyone? Give me some kind of, yay, that was good-ish, or that was horrible. Okay, cool, thank you. Feel free to do this at home as well. And with this, I would say, let's go on into our third batch of pitches. And we are starting in Budapest. And I welcome on stage Ada Amon. Please give it up for Ada. Your clicker, your microphone, your time.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you. So, I would like to present you our project, which is Budapest Climate Agency for Renovation of Homes, Budapest Cares. And I will start with lots of figures, which is against of any pitch, I guess, but Budapest is the 9th biggest city in Europe, in the EU. 2 million people live there, and Budapest consumes or emits 16% of the country's CO2 emission, which is a big number. And it's a no-brainer that buildings are the biggest emitters. It's the same in Budapest. 60% of our emission is coming from buildings, and 2/3 of this is coming from the homes. You can see now the electricity consumption of Hungary, and you can see that little peak in the middle of the country. That's Budapest, and that's Budapest's electricity consumption. And it's pretty much the same for all other energy carriers. So you can see that we can make a lot of, or we should make a lot of efforts. Budapest and its energy consumption deserves care, and that's why we set up this project with a special institution to be set up to deal with this huge emission coming from the homes. Therefore, we would like to make clusters of the different buildings, make clusters of the different households, and make sure that we have a dedicated financing scheme for all the typical homes in Budapest. And that's what the Budapest Cares project is serving for, and that's what the new climate agency is set up for, and that's how our buildings are going to be much nicer, not only be the city more climate friendly. And that's what we use, the resources, what we got from the NetZeroCity and from the Commission, and we hope that we are going to get the same support from the Hungarian government for that, in order not to urbanize the urbanization. Thank you for the quote, gentlemen.
Good quote, perfect in time. There you go. Thank you so much, Ada. And we continue in Sweden, in Malmö. Please give it up for Ulrika Lagergren. Clicker, you press here. Here is your time. You go.
Thank you. Thank you. And now I will present Climate Transition Malmö. To reach climate neutrality by 2030 and increase the pace of Malmö's climate transition, the City of Malmö has initiated Climate Transition Malmö. It is our process to mobilize actors in Malmö to work together in reducing emissions while also creating societal transformation. Where are we now and what's been done so far? Malmö is on its way to create a robust structure and iterative and professional process to support the transition. We have identified 7 prioritized transition areas and developed multiple scenario and pathways analysis, including socioeconomic impact analysis. 2 transition area roadmaps have been developed, heating and climate neutral construction. Together they cover 30% of the territorial emission and represents a carbon sink equal to approximately 60% of the total territorial emission. An additional 5 area-specific roadmaps are currently in development, and they will be completed by the end of 2023. We have signed climate contracts and started to form working groups with major business actors and researchers. And some key actions in the pipeline of the work ahead. The focus in the coming time will be on completing and rolling out our roadmaps, meaning that there will be professional transition processes established with a clear understanding of what needs to change to deliver climate and societal impact, while also identifying where further development work is needed in the coming iterations. Our ongoing process to join forces with and mobilize the city's various actors, industry, civil society, citizens, and academia will continue to scale up, not least through our new digitized signing service. There's great interest in and a desire to be part of Malmö's climate transition, and by signing our own local climate contract Malmö, we gather strength together to strive for a climate-neutral Malmö 2030. We are also in the process of launching climate initiatives related to the everyday life for the citizen who might not know how to contribute to the transition. The initiative offers guidance on climate-smart alternatives to what eat, shop, how we live, the way we spend our vacation, and how we transport ourselves in Malmö. The climate is not our only challenge. In Malmö, the politics are clear. The climate transition should result in better health, new green jobs, and increased social equality.
Just make clear you're finished when it's like 3 seconds left. Thank you so much. We continue from Malmö. We move on to Germany, and there we have a duo coming up on stage from Mannheim and Aachen, respectively, and on behalf of Münster, please welcome on stage Claudia Mauser and Karen Jansen. This is your clicker. Time is down here. You go.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Karin, and I'm from Aachen. And this is my colleague, Claudia, from Mannheim. And together, we would like to introduce to you CoLab, the German pilot activity. Does this look familiar to you? We all know about climate change, and we know that it depends on each one of us if we want to stop it. We have the technical solutions, many ideas and approaches, and often also the required infrastructure. But it's so hard to get people to make changes in their everyday life and their daily routines. So, how can the city administration get citizens to live and act more sustainably? How can the city influence the Scope 3 emissions? The 3 German cities, Mannheim, Aachen, and Münster, we greet you, want to address these questions in their project CoLab, committed to local climate action building. We want to look especially at consumption, waste, and food. So, what have we planned, Claudia?
So, we want to build a house of change, it's called, with many rooms in it. So these are kind of our methods. So we have rooms, for example, Hall of Fame, to make good deals visible. A room with information, a room where we connect and match and exchange good ideas. Another room where we find and solve challenges. So this is the Mannheim platform, local Green Deal platform, for example, here the Hall of Fame. We have the climate agency in Aachen planned, and for Münster, a digital tool, also all with the aim of engaging the civil society to take part in our mission.
Yeah, and as you all know, sometimes you just need the right motivation and inspiration to change your attitude. Thank you.
definitely inspiring for us and for you to get a chocolate. Oh, come on, you do get each one. We do have enough chocolate for that. Thank you so much. From the House of Change in Germany, we move on to Kozani and I welcome on stage Ioannis Fallas. Oh, you already lost. That's okay, but you still have a chance for chocolate now. This is your clicker. This is your time. You go.
Thank you. So Kozani is in the region of Western Macedonia, in northwestern part of Greece, and it has been the heart of electricity, as we say, for the country, producing more than 75%, 3/4, of the total country's needs for electricity. However, it was very dirty. It was coming from lignite, which is even poorer than coal. So you can imagine the landscape. Luckily, 3 years ago, there was a decision to move away from lignite, and so the power plants are going to decommission. Actually, they were supposed to decommission this year, but due to the war in Ukraine, there was a short extension, maybe for 1 or 2 years. But in the end, the general plan is that. So that's fantastic, yes? Of course, but there is a catch there. In Kozani we have district heating, and I open a small parenthesis here. I was joking with some colleagues from Finland because I was telling them, well, I saw some district cooling in Finland, and they say, yes, but you have district heating in Greece. So that was a hell of a discussion there. Anyway, coming back to the district heating, well, that was using the residual heat from the lignite power plants. So decommissioning the power plants means that we have to find alternatives. And obviously, we want to move towards greener alternatives. So what we are considering, of course, is renewables. And we want to move there. We want to examine all potential, and that's exactly the core of the pilot facilities, which, however, for the first phase, focuses on the peak. Not the whole range, but the peak of our district heating. So we want to see, probably with other cities, I know that many of your cities, especially maybe the Nordic, more or less, have district heating. So we want to explore new, greener ways of walking that way. Now, normally this would be the time that I would request my chocolate. But, well, being a Greek, I would rather need the hag. So, lorem ipsum, lorem ipsum, lorem ipsum. Can I get the hug?
You're finished. You get your chocolate and the hug.
Yeah, thank you.
There you go. Hang on. Chocolate. No need for any lorem ipsums on this stage. Thank you so much. And we move from from a district heating in Greece to a city whose mayor has been here on stage before today, to Turku. And please welcome with me Heli Huskonen. Your clicker here, your time here. You go.
Turku has already reduced its emission 55% from the 1990 level. And our goal is still to be climate neutral by 2029. But we will not reach this goal unless we engage citizens of Turku and local companies to do the work with us. And this challenge, our mission pilot project is aiming to solve. So, firstly, we use digital tools and data. We aim to create a digital platform where Turku citizens, companies, politicians, and experts will find the most recent data and information how the climate work in Turku is going, and also what can they do to do their own share. Secondly, we create a network. We create a network for the local companies where they can do climate work. We already have this network existing, but in this project, we want to develop it. We want to deepen the work, what we are doing with the companies and what the companies are doing with each other. We want the network to be a place where they can share ideas and experiences of climate work, where we can offer advisory and training for the local company and reduce the emissions together. And this is the work we have already done, but we will continue it in this project. And thirdly, we will nudge the citizens. Our partner in this project is University of Turku, and the psychologist from the university, Professor Paula Salo, and her team, and they will design nudging that will nudge citizens of Turku towards sustainable mobility. We have 3 target groups, and they are elderly people, families, and youth. And on top of that, they will also nudge the companies. So this is our vision, to make Turku a city where companies and citizens can reduce their emission and live 1.5-degree lifestyle. I'm looking forward to work with you. Let's be in contact.
Thank you so much, Haley. Thank you. And with this, we've almost reached the final batch of pitches. And before we do that once more, I invite you into a little reflection. So, turn to a neighbor and maybe this time turn to the other side so you speak with someone new. And out of all the projects that you have heard about, what are the ones that really resonated with you because you are doing something similar, and maybe this is something where you could give advice and you can give input to the people who you've just heard speaking. So turn to another person. Let's just say the person with the darker hair starts now, to not have any troubles there. You're given 1 minute each. The person who starts speaks, the other person just listens without comments or questions, and I'll let you know when we switch. Please find your person. 1 minute starts. And 1 minute is over, so you switch to the other person. And 1 minute is over again. So find a way to finish your sentence, say thank you to the person that you've just shared with, and come back, as we still have a bit of chocolate left and another round of 4 more pitches. By now, we have had 15 pitches, out of which 12 were on time. Who's still part of the game? It's getting less, but there are still some very optimistic people. All right, everyone. Let's continue, and please give it up with a warm welcome and applause for Guimarães and Paulo Machado. Clicker here, 3 minutes, there you go.
Hello, I'm Paulo from Guimarães, and I really want chocolate. So our project is called District C, Zero Carbon Commitment. It has the goal to transform district within a confined area in our historical city center, in which we want to be carbon neutral with the citizen performing that transformation. Just to frame you and to talk about transformations and for you to see how this place got to be what it is today. So back in 1884, there was an industrial exhibition that transformed the place to be industrial, mostly tanneries and textiles-related industries, which really transformed the place into not a really pleasant place, okay? But then, years passed, that industry gone, but all the infrastructures and everything still there. Beside that place, just on the periphery, there's another place. There's a place where we have a medieval town, where we even have a castle. And due to an urban rehabilitation project, in 2001, we got to be UNESCO World Heritage. But by one side, we have this area, which is a UNESCO World Heritage, and on the other, we have this old industrial tannery site right next to it, where people don't even get close. So back in 2012, with a project to unite the citizens of Guimarães, with the help of culture, creativity, and commitment, we changed that place. Thanks to another urban rehabilitation, but now in the whole industrial area. And so the district is a C because it looks like one, okay? And so we got to transform this whole area. In 2012, it was precisely when the city turned into its environmental aspirations. And after it, we started to provide with our citizens with more tools, with more empowerment to proactively change the city. And we kind of cheated, okay? The District C, it's already an in-place project, but it aimed for culture, for knowledge, in Portuguese it starts with a C, and for creativity. And so, we looked at it and we think, what's missing? The C for carbon. Okay, so let's put into all these systemic changes the carbon, or at least let's try to reduce it. There's a lot of challenges. Being this a historical place and not a freshly built one, the challenge is bigger, but we are here to accept it. And so, we want, with the help of the pilot cities, to provide the tools and the empowerment for people to change this territory into the emission into the emission sectors of mobility, land use, energy, and that's it. And so And so with all of that, this is what we want, to turn this in a more livable place, in a more sustainable place, and hopefully to export this to all the city and the world. Thank you for listening. There's no chocolate, right?
I hate to break it to you, unfortunately, I cannot give you the chocolate, but thank you for the historic journey through Guimarães. And we continue to Umea, and I welcome on stage Annika Muren. Click here, there's the timer. And there you go.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Annika Muren, and I'm here with my colleague Eric and my deputy mayor, Janet. The small picture you can see here illustrates our northern position. We have the northern lights. Yes, we can see it in the winter. And you can also see the constant growth. There's a crane there. It's always a crane in Umeå. Today I will talk about our pilot project, the North Star, where we will pilot the systemic transition process. And we do this together with the overall municipal company and RISE, the Research Institute of Sweden. And hopefully you can all be guided by Umeå's North Star. This is Umeå. We're at the top of Europe. We're the most northern mission city. As you can see, we can have it like upside down. We're the largest city in northern Sweden. We have approximately 130,000 inhabitants. Almost 40,000 of them are students, 2 universities. We're very young inhabitants. We have more than 14,000 businesses, and not to forget a lot, maybe 262 kilometers of walking and biking paths. Because of our position, perhaps the major challenge in climate transition is the mobility and transports. That's both personal and goods. Of course, this also comes from a strong car culture. This is why we have invested in, for example, winter biking, the Aurora Botnia ferry between Vasa and Umeå with investments from the European Investment Bank, and a fully electric public transport. But this is not enough. We have to work locally and work together. So we cooperate in this local climate contract. And the Pilot City program is all about this. We have to boost the transition capacity for all these organizations. We will break boundaries between these 40 businesses, public authorities, civic societies, and we will do this as the missions by and for citizens. Have I said everything? No, I don't think so. We will try to break silos. This is our main purpose, and try not to sub-optimizing. This is the key words for us. We will also, as others are saying, engage our citizens. This is a picture from our Umecom festival, and this says, saving the world, that's nothing you do on your own. So this is also what we will be doing. We will boost the transition capacity for both our businesses, public authorities, citizens, and all the people who are involved. And I'm 30 seconds ahead because my colleague here, she really wants to win this competition.
I see.
For a chocolate.
Ah.
So thank you.
So you actually gave up the chocolate.
Yeah.
Wow. Please give it up for Annika. Thank you. Oh, we've got those little competitions going on here. This is what it turns into as soon as you bring chocolate into the game. We move on from Sweden to the central parts of Europe, to Granj. I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. No. Kranje. 2 options, got the wrong one. Kranje, and on behalf of the Slovenian mission cities Ljubljana and Velenje, please welcome on stage Polona
Prosensprach.
It's me, yes. Kind of.
Did
sort
I
of,
somehow?
Sort of.
Tell me how to say it.
Prosenspreich.
Spreitz.
Yes.
Language lessons live here on stage. And Eva Romy, please give it up for them. This is your clicker, and here is your time.
The green one.
Yes.
The green one and
you
this.
click on this.
And this is
yes.
working.
You don't do anything to this. This is just your mic.
Hi everyone. We are Eva and Polona, and we are here today to do our best in a given time to present you the Upscale, a project idea that was co-designed by all three mission cities from Slovenia, Kranj, Ljubljana and Velenje. So let us start with pointing out that the mission itself and the pilot call that followed marked the beginning of the cooperation among the three cities on a different level, on a level of practitioners. We put the big bosses to the side and we started being operative and practical. The conclusion was that even though there are numerous features that differentiate the cities, there are also many similarities in challenges we face in our day-to-day operations. The city's mission teams are aware that in order to achieve what we are aiming for by 2030, we need to start breaking the silos management of city administrations. The pilot and preparation of CCCs is a great opportunity for a start. We also know that we can't do it by ourselves, thus we need to bring in other actors. National government is one of them, and this is where the big bosses come back in. Not just the state, all three cities are aiming to strengthen the cooperation with the relevant stakeholders within each city.
So now the different things. The cities are tackling different scope of emission domains, while pilot in Kranj is focusing on mobility and the optimization of cities' public transport and the design of mass applications. So we want to take the people out of their cars and guide them towards using the sustainable modes of transport. Pilot in Ljubljana is focusing on industrial and non-industrial excess waste heat and channeling that into energy. And Velenje is focusing on consumption of thermal energy in buildings. So cities combined, we are tackling areas that cause the most domains in cities. And how do we do that? What do we need to implement this wisely? We need data, lots of data. We need to gather, organize, set KPIs, analyze, transform this data into useful information. And don't worry, we're not going to do this by ourselves. We actually have other two project partners. Let's call them the brain of the pilot, the Slovenian National Research Institute and Envirodual, an energy management consulting organization. Okay, so, and it's been emphasized so many times today, the success of the mission and related actions is highly dependable on all citizens, and oh, here she comes, and change of our behavior. Throughout the pilot, each city will set up a one-stop shop for engaging and cooperating the citizens, while a one-stop shop in Ljubljana and Velenje,
use the mic at least,
is going to remain traditional in physical form. One-stop shops in Kranj will come to life in digital environment in our own city's smart digital platform, which is already up and running. Okay, so here are our contacts. For the ones that want to cooperate with us, do not hesitate to contact us, but just a fair warning. The ones that are interested in study visits or hosting study visits will have the right away. So thank you.
Thank you so much. I would have loved to apologize for my bad pronunciation with chocolate. Unfortunately, I could not. And we have, with this, 12 out of 18. So we're sticking to the time. So who was guessing 12 or more? Hi, a few more hands still in the game. And let's see what happens with our final pitching presentation today. And for this, I welcome on stage
Bologna, and on behalf of the Italian mission cities Bergamo, Florence, Milan, Padua, Parma, Prato, Rome, and Turin, please welcome on stage Paola Papini. You click here, there you see your time, 3 minutes.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, I'm Paola from Bologna. I represent here the multi-city pilot project of Bologna, Bergamo, Florence, Milan, yeah, Padova, Parma, Prato, Rome, and Torino. Okay, in the back. Okay, yeah. We have we are 9, all the 9 mission cities of Italy, all beautiful cities. But we found out that behind our beauty, that you can see in the picture, there are some challenges, particularly for climate neutrality goals. So we focused. Well, actually, the title of our pilot is Governing the Transition Through Pilot Actions, because we found out that we have to focus, we tackle the problem from governance point of view. So, the thematic is, we focused on mainly is reduction of building emissions. So we, through the exploration and enhancement of governance models, how? On the internal point of view, so within the municipalities, and also on the between municipalities and the stakeholders. So we will focus, I will skip this, I will go to the next slide because I want to get my chocolate. Okay, so we had to look behind what is the obstacles, you know. So we found out that there are a few ones. The first one is the need to enhance knowledge across departments in municipalities to create a common vision, cross-sectoral and joint management of climate priorities, starting with cities planning tools. There is a need of improving dialogue and collaboration with stakeholders. And there is a lack of data or a data exchange and integration, systematization of knowledge. So there's a need for new agreements, new protocols, new platforms. And lastly, the lack of agile financial resources. So the project, the pilot project, will focus on 3 main clusters. The cluster of finance, so we look into if there are possible ways of new financial models. We look into data, data collection and monitoring, if we can do something better about this, and also on the main one, which is the engaging stakeholders and citizens. So that's it. Thank you. I just would like to add that with the 9 cities, we have technical partners. We have IESS, that is here, and also University of Bologna, and Torino Politecnico.
You know, this is not how it works. You finish, you get your chocolate, you continue, but I know Italians are known to speak fast, but still your 3 minutes are over. Thank you so much, Paola, and our 13th pitch who actually stuck to its time. Thank you so much, and let's have a look who actually won a bit of chocolate here in the audience. So who of you guessed that out of 19 we would have 13 sticking to the time? I see 1 hand here, 2 hands there. Can maybe someone help me distribute the chocolate? Wonderful. So, congratulations, and please give it up to all pitching contestants. No cheating there. You've got it written on your post-it. Congratulations, and I think it's actually quite a good ratio. 13 out of 19. Thank you to all the pitching presentations. And once more, take a moment. You don't have to talk to anyone now. But you find Post-its around you, and just grab one of those. If you put down one thing, one action step, that after listening to all of these pitches, you want to actually do. And we're going to talk a bit about opportunities that are also coming up in just a minute when we're going to close this. But just for you now, is there something where you're like, all right, I got inspired to do this, or I want to follow up with that person, or I want to learn more about X, Y, Z. Whatever it is, grab a Post-it and just put it down on the Post-it, and on the back of the Post-it, put your email address. This would be the moment where you do this. Pens, anyone? So the idea would be you grab a Post-it, you just put down one thing that you just got inspired to do. So something that really, out of everything you've just listened to, and you've had a lot of information, one thing, one kind of key action step. It can be something really small. It doesn't have to be the entire transformation of your city. It can be something small. Just put it on a Post-it, and on the back of your Post-it, put your email address, and I'll give you a moment to do this. I can still see some people thinking. I see a lot of people writing. And I see some people who are already finished, kind of waving with their little Post-it. And now what you could do, I invite you to do this, is just give that Post-it to someone else. And you have your email address on it, so that person can actually hold you accountable to it. And can come back to you tomorrow, in a week, and just ask you, hey, did you do that one thing that you promised to do a few days ago in Brussels? So, turn to your right, turn to your left, whoever it is that you want to trust with this piece of action step, and just hand it over, and maybe that person wants to give their little action step to you as well. There are several Post-its still lying there as well. So thank you for taking part in the reflection and in this kind of making sure that out of all the things that we discuss here, we also create action steps that lead to impact. And to close off this session, I invite you to come back with your attention and 2 more times give it up for those coming on stage. And please welcome on stage first the Strategic Learning Lead of EIT Climate Kick. Please give it up for Nikhil Chaudhary.
Well, it's really difficult to follow up all of those fascinating pitches with something as fascinating as monitoring, evaluation, and learning. But I'll give it a try anyway. Here we go. Oops, I'm going back. No, in front. Yeah, here we go. And of course, I don't have spectacular visuals, but it's a very text-heavy slide. But hopefully in the next 3 minutes, I'll try and give a quick overview as to what we can expect as a part of this learning and sense-making process that we have in store for you. If we look at that red dotted line, that's where we are currently. You have done all of the hard work putting together these impressive templates. You've identified indicators. You've put together really coherent impact frameworks. And now is the time to put all of this data and indicators and expected outcomes to use. And for this process, what we have done is we have divided this process into three parts, let's say. The first being the formative phase, from now until the end of the year, let's say until November. But that is the time when we'll actually, critically look at all of what you've given to us and actually pin down, okay, what are some of those strategic learning goals that we have in mind that multiple pilot cities are trying to strive towards. Also trying to get started with this so-called sense-making process. It's still a very mysterious term for many of you, but hopefully as we actually get into the practice of it, you'll get to know more as to what it means and how it helps trying to kickstart some of these peer learning processes. And of course, as we move towards the reflexive phase, it's more about when you're in the middle of this very frantic implementation, how can we actually capture those very actionable insights and feed them back into your decision-making, your investment decisions, your project management, and so on. We'll also have a chance to refine your indicators. So it's, we're not following that conventional practice of, just set your indicators once and forget about it. We'll actually have a chance to relook at them critically, try and reframe a few things if need be. And of course, which then pushes us into the last part of the process, which is a summative phase, when we are looking back as to what has been achieved, try and convert all of your efforts into these powerful impact stories, which could be communicated widely. And based on all of that, of course, we'll have a chance to do some final evaluations as well. In the last 1 minute, I'll go through what can you expect in the next phases. Is also this process of clustering. So you'll be clubbed with 6 to 8 other cities, equal number of clusters as well, so that we can form these tight learning groups. We are also working hard to actually create an online reporting tool. So all of the rich data that you have in the template, we'll be digitizing it so that you can work with it throughout the 2 years. We are also available to offer you reviews of these impact frameworks that you've provided to us. And of course, there'll be one facilitator assigned to each of these clusters of cities to handhold you, support you in this so-called collective sense-making process. Also continuously capturing outcomes, capturing these rich insights, which we'll of course work hard to speak with you. Maybe it can involve one-to-one conversations to actually convert all of your efforts into case studies, into evidence, into stories that could be communicated to the wider world. And lastly, let's not forget about there's a forthcoming twinning program as well, where you'll get a chance to actually get to know your twin cities and of course bring them into the fold of all of the frantic work that you're doing out on the ground. And of course, this is the call is still open, as I understand right now. And some of the colleagues that you'll meet here are actually putting together this process. So if you find some of them, you'll get to know more about the twinning program as well. And with that, let me wrap it up. I'm one minute over, so not expecting any chocolates here. But I wish you all the best as you kickstart your project work. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Nikhil. And since you are out of competition and I think the chocolate has been spread, I'm actually quite happy that you overstepped. And we do have a bit of time since this session was actually so punctual. But please, let's bring on stage the people who've, on the one hand, put all of this together and on the other hand can also tell you a bit about upcoming opportunities and an upcoming call. Please give it up for the Pilot Cities program team members, Joanna Kiernicka-Alavena and Will Wade.
Thank you, Pilot Cities. It was amazing, so inspiring. Now, just please, I'd like to apologize because as hosts, we didn't feel the need for timing or just wanted to take it cool. But you did so great that we'll just put together 3 slides and we'll try to make it. So let's see. You were really great and a lot of inspiration, but as you know, they say the more the merrier. And that's why we are really happy to confirm that after the summer break, we'll launch another call for pilot cities to complement the existing portfolio. This call will be dedicated to mission cities only. We don't have the precise dates yet, but the first to come is to be expected in September-ish, so to be confirmed. And we are planning another one, a second, to be launched until the end of the year. Will, over to you.
Thanks, Joanna. So we'll try and keep it in time. So as this image is supposed to try and depict, we get asked this question a lot, is will the next call be different? Will it have a different scope or type of activities? We obviously can't give the absolute detail now because we haven't published anything, but we don't anticipate it to be very different from the last call that we ran, except for probably refined, a bit more focused in some of the questions that we asked and some of the criteria we used to really try and focus your thoughts and your activities for those in the room who will be looking to apply to it. So hence, this next call will look to reflect the one that's just been as well. All being well, we look to launch some draft guidelines in August with the call to shortly follow that. But again, more detail will be coming out as soon as we have the ability to do that.
Some key things that we would like you to reflect on and consider is, first, what really matters is that the ideas you'll develop and submit are valuable to you, to address the challenges you face in your very local context. So please, get inspired, but do not copy the pilots that we already have in the portfolio.
And just to double down on that point as well, while we don't want you to sort of copy other things or go stray too far out of what is important to your city, we also wouldn't want you to get too cute about trying to find the exact niche or small point in the existing portfolio that would almost guarantee some kind of selection, because that isn't really how it works. But also, as Joanna has said, it really needs to be important to you. It needs to be sensible, and it needs to be useful in your context. It needs to be about what you need to do, and it shouldn't be about trying to game the selection system or process, as it were.
And since you all are mission cities, and the pilot activities are here for you to learn how to work on your future action plan, how to implement those activities, please think about the alignment of your pilot application with your action plan, because it's not something on top, it's literally something that should be at the heart. One of those activities that you need the most right now to get you on the journey to climate neutrality. Thanks.
So I do think we have a few minutes if there's any questions in the audience, but just before we do that, I did just want to thank all of you for participating, especially the speakers who did some absolutely wonderful pictures and really took the challenge we gave you to heart with the 3 minutes, the 3 slides and the images. So just a big thank you on our behalf, and we hope you all enjoyed it as well. But we're happy to take any questions if we have a bit of time, if anyone has any burning one. Should I can run down with this.
Thank you, Will. Will cities that have already applied and been awarded a grant for the first call be eligible for the second call?
The 2 calls that we are talking about are meant, as I said, to enlarge the portfolio. So we are inviting new mission cities. But in those that are not pilot cities yet. But there's a call that will come a little bit later for those that will advance their activities to apply afterwards.
So, so we're considering at the moment, again, it's not something confirmed, that those who are already undertaking pilot activities, there may be a future call where they can look to enhance scale and take them further and deeper, basically. Any other questions while I'm roaming the room? I don't think so.
Anyways, we'll be available at the coffee break. I think there is one, so do not hesitate if you have specific questions. And thank you again, and really impressed by the presentation of Pilot Cities. So we look forward working with you in the upcoming years. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joanna. Thank you so much, Will. You might not have gotten any chocolate, but you have deserved a long break, and this is now actually longer because we just gained some 10 minutes. So we're going to be back here at 4:30, and please make sure to be here on time for the final session, where also Franz Timmermans is going to join us. So see you again here at 4:30.